Okay, guess who's back from Serbia? It's me. So I sat down with Cathy and Sandy and talked about my trip to Serbia. It was really fun. I learned a lot about Serbia, obviously, and about myself and about Bert. And it was really cool. So we just have a good time chatting about Serbia. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And thanks for coming back every week. Thanks for your emails. I do read every single one. I can't respond to all of them, but I do read them. So keep them coming. And if you have any suggestions for podcast episodes, I'd love to hear that too. So I hope you enjoy this week's episode with me and Sandy and Cathy talking about Serbia.
So welcome back to
Thank you.
To reality.
Thank you.
Party hardy.
For better or worse.
I know, right? I did party hardy. We partied pretty hardy. It was a really fun trip. I missed you, Sandy, my international travel partner.
Oh, yeah.
I had 3 days of quarantine, but they let me walk around, which was great.
I don't know how that worked. But can you go in anywhere?
No.
You have to have your mask on, and then you walk around.
Mm-hmm.
Just outside. Like,
all right, just outside.
But who's tracking you?
Nobody.
So
technically,
did you sneak off and just had a rendezvous with birds? Like, meet at the park.
I know, right? He wanted to, and then he couldn't do it. He called me the first day and he's like, so I'm just going to come to your room. And I went, okay. I mean, it's a quarantine. And he was like, damn it, Leanne. Why do you have to be like that? And I'm like, hey, it's your movie. It's not my movie. But this is what they said specifically in my email. No contact with the cast or crew for 3 days. You can walk outside. Please don't go in any shops. Don't go indoors. Please eat at the hotel. So I was given like parameters. And the first thing said, no contact with the cast or crew. So I was like, if you're willing to break that rule, then come on over. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
But was the food delivered to you, or you had to?
I had room service.
You have room service. Okay.
Room service for 3 days is not enjoyable.
Yeah.
no, I bet.
And not dietarily good. I mean, the food was good that I had from room service, but it was very American. I was really surprised that Serbia was so Americanized. Zara on every other corner. Like every shop was American. Every restaurant, every store I went into, it was all American music.
And everyone spoke English?
Everyone spoke English in Belgrade.
What's Belgrade?
Belgrade's
language?
the city.
Oh, yeah, but in Belgrade.
In Belgrade,
okay.
yeah.
And what is their Serbian? Is there language?
Yes.
Serbish?
Serbian and Croatian. Serbish, yes. Serbish.
Not Chinese, Serbish. I don't know. What language is that?
Slurbish. They say, Serbian and Croatian. I guess is Serbio-Croatia is what they call it. I don't know if it's all the same language. I was confused. I have no idea. But I think it was Serbian.
So it's Serbish.
It was Serbish. It was Serbish. Yes. It was Serbish. But so the cool thing is, I've established this before when I went to Bali with Bert, is he's a vacationer and I'm more of a traveler.
Yeah.
So when I first got there, I watched all these YouTube videos about the history of Serbia, which is so complicated and just so very complex that I couldn't really completely process it. It's been, I guess Serbia is located kind of at the crossroads of Europe and Africa and Asia, and all the Ottomans and the Romans fought over this land over and over again. So it would pass between Romans and then Ottomans and then Romans and then Ottomans. And I guess there are Roman coins still buried all over the place in Serbia. Someone told me that I could buy one for like $10 in an antique shop, and I tried to find one, and that was clearly some Serbish because I didn't find it because I was going to bring back all our kids like an ancient Roman coin.
That's what I heard. Like when I Google it, what to buy, what can Leanne buy me from Serbia?
Exactly.
You can do like a coin heart, like a thing.
Yep.
Like jewelry is like all handmade.
If you could find it, buddy,
really?
Good
There's
luck.
Something?
Let me tell you something. 4 hours I walked in that city one day. I took a walk every day because I could. But one day I decided I was going to go to the fortress. There's a It's called the Belgrade Fortress, and it was built by the Romans. And
That must
like,
be beautiful.
it was really cool. Like 1132, maybe. Wow. And it's the fortress is where the Sava River meets the Danube River, and they built the fortress like on the bank of the river, and the entire city existed inside the fortress. So it was this like impenetrable city that the Romans had. And so not a lot of it is left, because something else I learned from the YouTube videos is that Belgrade is pretty much was just completely destroyed in World War II. So almost all the architecture is older than 1940s. 1940s or older. So there wasn't a lot of, I was thinking crossroads of the world. I'm going to see all these ancient.
But there's no cobblestone, like big cobblestone, like around there. No,
some
is there like
places,
an old city?
No, it felt more like New York than what I was expecting. I really expected to have at least some really old pockets, and the only thing I found literally was the fortress. Nothing else was ancient like that.
Not much of it is standing? Or
not much of the fortress is standing. There's like the original wall and one original archway, and then obviously pieces were built throughout time because it's been there for so long. There was a beautiful tower and some bridges. Obviously the wood's not from 1132, but there's a bridge where you can tell the stonework is from a very long time ago. There's a beautiful cathedral that's very, very old. I took tons of pictures of the ceiling that was oil painting, and one of them was all mosaic. It's Greek Orthodox is their religion, Orthodox. And so everything was just beautifully done, and lots of golds and jewel tones and really rich Catholic art. But yeah, not a lot to see besides the fortress of that kind of era.
Were there a lot of tourists?
I don't know. Here's something that I thought was really interesting about Serbia. They have a lot, or about Belgrade. I don't know about Serbia, but about Belgrade. They have a lot of green space. So probably every 2 or 3 blocks, there are huge parks. Like
that's awesome.
Huge parks, like a full square block or larger. And people were using them. Like that's where they would eat their lunch, or older gentlemen were playing chess or some game like that, and kids were rollerblading, and it was a Monday. And I'm like, wow, people are sitting on a bench eating ice cream. It was really crazy. And on one of my rides with my driver to the set, I was telling him about that. Now, also in the streets of the city, they have huge mature trees all in the streets. So unlike New York, and New York has a lot of trees, but the trees were huge. They were like these huge oak trees just in the middle of the sidewalk. So everything seemed really lush and green. And I was saying that to the driver, and he said to me, yes, people really enjoy their time. They make a conscious effort to not let capitalism take over their life. So the entire city closes for lunch at noon. Unless you're a restaurant, for 1 hour. Okay. So at 1, the parks are full because people are eating their lunch in the park. And I just was like,
where do they get their lunch? Does everyone bring it?
Well, no, the restaurants are open for lunch.
Okay.
But every other
the
shops,
closes.
Everything else is closed. Every business was closed.
At least for an hour, not like the Italians or the French. They cover like 3 hours.
Take a little siesta afterwards.
Yeah, I know. It's like, are you ever going to open up?
Just an hour.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed at how much the people who lived in Belgrade used their green space. They really did. It's a walking city. They have trolley cars, kind of like San Francisco, the electric trolley cars that take you wherever you need to go.
So it wasn't busy, right? Because maybe because of the pandemic, or you think it's not a very touristy place?
I don't think it's very touristy. I asked some of the crew, where do I go to buy rugs, ceramics? And the answer was always, well, if you drive 3 hours north to this village, you can buy this ceramic. And then you have to drive 3 hours east and you can buy this rug. And I was like, but no, I mean in Belgrade. I don't know. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I was there for 12 days, and on the 11th day had bought no souvenirs for anybody. And I was like, I'm bringing Sandy some liquor, but that's about all I got. I got nothing else.
I did, because top 10 things. It's like, how do you say that? The wine is rakia.
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 Rakia is not wine.
I thought it was.
No, it's not wine. And if it were not the middle of the day, we'd be taste testing it. It's a liqueur that you drink, that you sip. And it tastes like moonshine.
So
like
was that what you were partying with Bird?
Yeah. That's
what you were drinking?
Yeah, we were drinking rakia. Yeah.
Was it good?
It was delicious because they mix it with honey. And then it's really good. So
anything with honey is good.
It's good. So yes, we were.
Wait. Can you make a hot toddy with it? Like, can you make it like a tea and then put that in there and then honey?
Probably.
That would be good.
I bet that would be good. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, I bet that would be really good.
Do you put it on ice?
Yes. What they would do is they have a little bitty glass pitcher that they would put the honey in, and then they'd fill it's a tiny glass pitcher. It probably holds 8 ounces.
Okay.
And they'd put the rakia in there and then put that on a little bucket of ice and then give out shot glasses, and you would pour yourselves a shot from that chilled pitcher of rakia with honey. And so they would bring it with honey and without honey, so that you could kind of taste what it really tasted like, which is turpentine. It tastes terrible. It's exactly like moonshine.
Really?
Yes. It's made from plums, but man, it is really strong. But the honey, it was just really smooth. And I drank a lot of it one night. Our last night that they shot, I drank a lot of rakia. But I didn't get very drunk. So maybe it's because I've been drinking so
much and conditioning your body to
It built up your tolerance.
I built up my tolerance. Yeah. So anyway, we're walking around. I never did find anything to buy on my own. But on Monday, we were invited to the U.S. ambassador to Serbia's house for a private dinner with Bert.
That must be fun.
It was really fun.
What did you wear, first of all?
It was a very casual event. We had Googled and researched the ambassador, and but you can't, I mean, he's in a suit. He's like a lifelong diplomat, politician. And we just really had no idea what to expect. We didn't know why, like, specifically we were invited. It was just, we knew it was because the attaché to the ambassador had said, ambassador's a really big fan of Bert's and would love to have you and whoever you'd like, as many people as you like, whatever, no big, So he invited, obviously the director and the main cast members and the UPM and the producer and me and his manager all to go. So it was really surreal because
how was the ambassador?
He was awesome. He was really fun. Very personable.
Like young?
No, he was probably maybe 60.
Okay.
If I had to guess, early 60s. His wife is Irish. They met in Ireland. They have 3 kids. I think the kids are really the fans. But I actually found out later why we were actually there. But it was beautiful. It was a beautiful piece of property. They were amazing hosts. We had Dantana was there. Of Dantana, the restaurant. Do you know that that's a real person? Do you even know what Dantana is?
Oh my God.
Do you know what Dantana is?
I do know, yeah.
Dantana is an iconic Italian restaurant in Beverly Hills. It's been here forever.
Why was he there?
He lives in Serbia. He's actually Serbian.
Not
What the
Italian?
hell was he doing
Not
here?
Italian.
That's, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what he was doing there, but he was at dinner with us. And Bert lost his mind because Dantana was there. So he's taking all these pictures with Dantana and his wife. But it couldn't have been a more relaxed, enjoyable, personable, easy evening.
So it wasn't like a formal.
Was
not.
not.
No. Okay.
No. So I just wore like a simple dress that I actually bought from Jenny. That's like this is good. I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of like a peasant looking dress, but it was very fitted up top. So it looked really nice on me. And I wore my cowboy boots because I was American.
Yeah.
American in Serbia. But yeah, it was really great. I ended up sitting at a table with
how many people were there? It's like
probably 30.
Okay.
So they had invited a lot of diplomats that work with the ambassador. Because the reason we were there is I'm definitely going to screw up the titles of all these people, so I'm not even going to mention them. But there were 3 gentlemen who were diplomats who had all served the U.S. government in some diplomacy fashion in Moscow. So all of them knew exactly who Bert was, and all of them had heard the machine story. And one of them, Brandon, said, when I heard that story, I thought, this has got to be a true story, because only someone who's been on that train can tell this story accurately. So I guess Barron, one of the diplomats, went to the ambassador and said, do you know that the machine is shooting a movie here and you should host him because they're trying very hard to get more film to come to Serbia.
Yeah.
That's why we were there, is that Barron went to the ambassador and said, you should host him for dinner. So we did. They made a traditional Serbian dinner, which was a lot of sausage.
Really?
It was like
Was it
3
good?
different types of sausage. It was
Really?
delicious.
Like, is that like the
Yeah.
Table.
Yeah. Every day on set, they were like, would you like pork, veal, or beef?
Sausage.
Yes. It was either sausage or fried, one of the 2.
What do you mean fried?
Like it was like a fried cutlet. Like a
But it's sausage?
no, like either sausage or like a fried piece of meat, deep fried
I
battered
see.
piece of meat. And then they were
very
like, what's not healthy? I was like, I'm going to gain 15
I was going
pounds.
to say, is everyone overweight?
Nobody.
Yeah. Usually, yes, because they probably just
Right,
eat
because
the portion, probably.
The
right?
portion
That
and
portion
everything's
control.
fresh.
Yeah.
Nothing's processed. So I'd go to lunch every day and they would veal, beef, or pork. And then I would be like, well, what's the least bad? Let's get the one that's the least.
Leaner, most lean is probably the veal, no?
Well, it would depend on how it was
how it's
made.
made, yeah.
Like sometimes it was fried. So I go, well, today it's the sausage because everything else is deep fried. So I tried my best to eat healthy, but it's really hard. Couldn't find a salad.
So what's the veg? Like,
Okay, the veg,
yeah,
beans.
that's not vegetable. Okay, go
Tell
ahead.
me about it.
But it's
Beans.
fiber. Okay.
Beans in like a tomato type sauce. It was delicious, by the way. Or a different kind of bean in a different kind of sauce.
Okay.
Or they would make zucchini fritters, which
Okay,
was
it's fried.
fried and like has some kind of either peas or there was something other than zucchini that didn't taste like bread, but I'm not sure what it was. And it looked like a hush puppy. It was completely deep fried. Let me think. Cucumber, tomato salad that was just drenched in something somewhat oily, somewhat milky. Not really sure what it was.
It's not vinegar. Like, no.
Not really that vinegary. That was the salad every day. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for vegetables. I don't remember having
But
any.
what's the fiber?
The beans.
It's just the beans? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They had veal stew every day.
Wow.
Veal stew or a vegetable soup that was vegan. So, no, I never saw fish.
Did you go out to eat?
I did go out to eat.
Do they have like different ethnic food?
Well, the one time we went out to eat, we didn't go out to eat very often. Bert, I was there. My travel tourism ended as soon as my quarantine ended
Okay,
because my purpose there was really to be supportive of Bert.
Okay, what about dessert? Like sweets?
Dessert, I only tried dessert in catering, and they were quite good. It was different.
Is it like Russian, like with the what is it called? The Russian dessert with the flaky.
Oh, like
Baklava?
yes,
Yeah.
baklava.
Yeah.
I did have baklava once. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
I had like one bite. and it
But
was
is that
too
their
sweet.
dessert?
That was one thing. They had their bread was actually quite good. They made fresh bread on the set every day. Anything from like a pita style bread to like a sourdough loaf, and everything was delicious and fresh in the bread department. So the meat fingers, you could do several different things with a meat finger. So they were either served by themselves with like mashed potatoes, pure potatoes, or polenta, or a version of French fries. Like their French fries were circular, but they were still French fries. They were just circular. Or they would serve them with a pita, and then you could put them in the pita. Either way, they came with some paprika paste. And I don't know what the name of this is. It was told to me maybe 8,000 times, but because I don't speak Serbish, I had no idea. I just could never repeat it. But apparently it is the fat off of milk. So when milk settles, the fat rises to the top, and they just scrape it off and serve it with meat fingers. And it's one of the best things I've ever had in my
dip it
life.
in that?
No, it's almost
So it's like butter.
It's almost the
Almost, yeah.
consistency of whipped butter, but it is not butter. It is milk fat. And that I would have put on a shoe and eaten it. It was
But
so
isn't butter
good.
milk fat?
Well, it is, but it's been churned. It's been processed. This is just literally what they
like
told
just-
me. Is they literally scrape it off the top and just put it in a container.
I mean, that has to be good, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you can't fuck up that.
It was really good. Like I was like putting it. I
delicious.
ate toast one day for breakfast and I was like, let's try this on some toast. It's amazing.
So can you buy that on the market?
I could have bought it there, but I was afraid I couldn't get it home and it'd still be cold. And I
Right,
didn't know.
but like, is it something you have to make, or can
No,
you like
you
go
buy
into
it.
a supermarket and just buy like a tub of?
Yeah, you can buy it.
What's it called? You don't
I mean, milk
remember.
fat.
It's
Milk
called
fat.
Serbish milk fat.
Yes.
I have no idea. I know. I was like, how
Finger
do I
lotion.
find that here? Finger lotion.
Meat finger. It's like, that's finger lotion.
It is meat finger lotion. But anyway, I was like thinking, well, I need to find, how do I find Serbian meat fingers here and replicate that meal? Because actually the meat finger meal was really tasty. Like if you got at that really nice restaurant I went to, the sausages were really good. So I was like, how do I make that for my kids? Because I can make round French fries. That's not hard, but I can't find that milk. Or I haven't tried yet, but surely there's somewhere here. But yeah, they may be partying a lot
Rakia.
over there. Yeah. He's not drinking much rakia. He doesn't like it. It's too strong for him. He just drinks wine. And I have to say their local wine was pretty
They're
hit or
good,
miss.
right? They have good
it's
wine.
Was
hit or
pretty
miss.
good?
Some of it
Really?
was, we were like, bleh. That tastes like grape juice. And then some of it was really good. So I think you just have to know. And, we don't know enough about the region or about the wine world over there.
Do they have markets for like American markets that you can go and get like some
Like a grocery
wine?
store?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Bert lived in a part of town that's because they rented him a house. He lived in a part of town that had like a little square that you could walk to that had a couple restaurants and a couple of stores, a market. So I went to the market the day before I left. I'd noticed they were almost out of eggs and milk for coffee and almost out of coffee. So I had to go get tested to be able to fly back into the United States. So I asked the driver to stop and let me stock up. And I looked for bagged salad specifically because I was like, I'm just going to throw a bag of salad in their fridge. So hint, hint. And they didn't have it. So they had vegetables. They had like peppers and carrots and tons of vegetables, but no green leafy,
Yeah.
no broccoli, no kale, nothing like that.
That's like in the Caribbean too. They don't
Really?
have bush. We call them bush. Like they call bush. It's like, you have any bush? And there's like no bush.
No
Just like,
bush.
yeah, just root vegetable.
yeah, all root vegetables.
Shopping was
Shopping was frustrating because I just couldn't find anything. But I'm at the ambassador's house and I say to the ambassador, he's like, you done any good shopping? I was like, I just don't want to buy Zara and bring it home. And so no, I can't find, I'm looking for authentic Serbian stuff. And he went, oh, my wife will take care of you with that. So he walked me over to his wife and, her kind of purpose, how the first lady has kind of a platform or purpose. Her purpose is
Shopping.
No, close. She's very into what they call handicrafts, which is weaving and knitting and anything handmade. So I told her I wanted to buy rugs. I wanted to buy all this stuff to bring back for souvenirs. And she said, I'll pick you up at 3:00 tomorrow and I'll take you on a private
Oh,
private
nice.
place where this woman who is a volunteer. She's Serbian and she works with everyone in Serbia. Like she's in Belgrade, but she works with everyone in Serbia and goes to their individual villages and tries to bring back their handicraft to Belgrade to sell it. But she's not allowed, and I don't know why, but she's not allowed to have a storefront. And I don't know why. And that's something that the ambassador's wife is trying to change. It's something political. There's some reason why she can't have a storefront. So, and they didn't really talk to me about the why of that. So I don't really know what that means. But I know Anne, the ambassador's wife, is speaking to the government somewhere there. And
Now she's Irish. Does she speak the
Irish.
local language?
a
Serbish?
little bit of Serbish, yes. A little bit. She says she speaks a little bit. But her husband has been in service over there for a long time.
How long have they been in Serbia? Do you know?
Not very long. He was appointed by Trump, and I think he was appointed maybe like a year and a half ago. So not very long. But they were in Moscow before that, I think. So she took me shopping. Mm-hmm. So I brought a few things that she brought me.
Was it cool?
Now, I bought you some gifts, but I'm going to give you the gifts later when Lynn is here, and I have everybody. I don't want to give you gifts, and then I think that would not be nice to Lynn. So,
but was it great?
it was amazing, actually. She had rugs. I guess mainly she didn't have anything ceramic or anything like that. It was all woven items.
I see. Okay.
So I didn't get to do any shopping for like those ceramic, those like handmade hearts that people wear. I didn't find any of that. And they didn't know where to find that. So I'm like,
Really?
you're in handicraft.
I wonder
You don't
if
know where
that
to find
has
it?
just been, abandoned, or like it's no longer exist, or is it because of the pandemic? Or
What I understood is that it exists in the village where they're made. But then I don't know what they do with them. They have a big stack of like handmade hearts that doesn't go anywhere.
maybe Belgrade is a very modern city now, and you have to be in the countryside of Serbia.
Maybe. But Belgrade is a pretty modern city.
It's the capital, right?
I believe so, yes.
But
And
you
then-
think that's where they would sell them.
Right.
Right? Because, yeah.
Well, I think that's part of what's lacking as a tourist.
Wait, what about the airport? Did you find anything at the airport? You usually find souvenir airport.
Nothing like ceramics, nothing like that. It was sweaters and kind of woven things, which I'd already bought.
Yeah. Okay.
So there was nothing at the airport. I bought some paprika paste in Belgrade, and it was at the airport. And the rakia I bought in Belgrade was at the airport.
Okay,
But I just didn't know, and I didn't want to leave without the rakia, so I bought it in Belgrade. And I didn't know what they'd have. But I will say this: the Istanbul airport is amazing.
Yes, that's where I want to go shopping. Istanbul.
You should. It's amazing.
I want to go. I really want to go to Istanbul.
I didn't get to go shopping there. I didn't get to stop. I
They
didn't
have
get
the
to
best
breathe.
rugs,
I had
yes.
to run.
Istanbul is where we should go shopping.
Well,
Maybe next time.
maybe next time. And by the way, Turkish Air was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. My contractor is from Israel, and he was like, "What are you flying out there?" And I said, "Turkish Air," and he went, "The best of the cheap." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And he was like,
best
"It's
of
the
the cheap?
best of the cheap. It's the cheap way to fly nicely, or the nice way to fly cheaply, or something like that." And I was like, "Okay, what am I getting myself
Guess so,
into?
yeah.
It's going to be like a pig in
Is
the
it going to be
aisle?
like Spirit?
What's going on?
Spirit, yes.
Like Spirit Air. That's what I
Right
was
where you have to like blow to make sure the plane gets there.
You do, and it's $20 for oxygen.
Yes.
You you can, but if you want oxygen, it's $20. But it was actually quite lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I had my own little sleeping pod, and
And the food. And
the food on the airline was great.
Yeah.
I had booze. I had whatever I wanted.
They serve booze?
They did.
Really?
They served drinks. Believe me, my neighbor flying home got completely hammered and had the hiccups for the whole flight. He was maybe 5'2". He was definitely speaking to them in a different language. I don't know if he was Turkish or what,
Or Serbish.
or Serbish. He was something that wasn't Americanish.
Drunkish.
He was, yes, very drunkish and very bossy. He was really, didn't care for him. He just kept bossing those flight attendants around, and I thought he was a very rude young man. But whatever. He passed out halfway through the flight and hiccuped for the rest of the way home.
Gosh.
But Turkish Air was awesome. And I wish I'd had time to spend time in the airport in Turkey, but I only had an hour and 10 minutes to get off my plane, go through passport check. And by the time I had deplaned both ways, they were already boarding my other flight. So I had to practically run to get from one flight to the other. So
not a lot
I
of
didn't
time.
really get to, I couldn't even, I was like, I'm going to pick up some stuff from Istanbul in duty free on my way back. No, there's no way I could have done it. I was just sprinting. So I was bummed about that. But because they had a lot of stuff in the airport that was like Turkish handicraft. So I was
Yeah.
like, this is amazing. I would buy so much stuff in here, even though I haven't really even been to Turkey. But they had like Moroccan lamps or
Yeah.
Turkish lamps, I guess. And not that I would have bought a lamp, but you know what I mean. They had
Yeah.
a lot,
A lot
of
of
stuff.
stuff, yeah.
And Serbia, I don't think Serbia thinks like that. I don't know why. Maybe they just don't have enough tourism to sustain it.
But what are the houses like there? Is it more modern or more, you know?
Well, I was there's two Belgrades. There's Old Belgrade, which is where I stayed, and New Belgrade. And they're divided by the Sava River. And it's kind of like New York versus the valley. So the Old Belgrade is very compacted and it looks like New York City. And the New Belgrade is more spread out. It's still kind of a city, but it's
It's like brownstones or
in Old Belgrade, yes. It's like brownstones. And New Belgrade is like big apartment buildings.
are there a lot of high rises? Like
No,
no.
not in Old Belgrade. In New Belgrade, there are.
Mm-hmm.
But we were on location about 30 minutes outside of the city, and it was absolutely beautiful there. It was all very green. I guess it's on the latitude with Seattle. I didn't think it was that high up, but it is. It was very lush and green, lots of trees.
What's the main like economy there? Like what do people do most? Banking is not known for banking, right?
I don't
what is
know.
it known?
I know that the average person, which this completely shocked me, makes about 600 euros a month, which is not a lot.
No.
So,
But is it expensive? there?
yes, everything. It's almost a 1-to-1 American dollar to their, is it the dinar? It's almost 1-to-1, and everything costs about the same as it costs here.
No.
Yes.
And then $600 a week.
600 euros a month.
A month.
A month.
Wow.
A month.
Wow.
I couldn't believe that. So the only people that live, what I was told by one of my drivers, is the only people who live in Old Belgrade are very wealthy. No one can afford to live there. Everyone else lives in New Belgrade where it's more affordable. And then drive into the city to work or
Wow.
work in New Belgrade. Yeah. It's not a very...
But IKEA, you went to IKEA?
I did.
Did you buy some rugs there?
I could have.
Rugs. I'm like, well, you're in IKEA, go for
I
it.
know, I was getting desperate. I got there, and Bert's in this like 3-story house that the production company rented for him and Andrew. 5 bedrooms, 2 of which have beds.
Only 2?
2 are completely empty, and 1 has a couch. So I was like, okay. And then I went in to shower, and Bert had 1 towel. 1 towel, no bath mat, no trash can in the bathroom. I was like, what? I said, Andrew, how many towels do you have? And he said, I think just 1. So I'm like, you guys have been here for 3 weeks. You've been using the same towel for 3 weeks. Okay, I need to go buy you guys something. So on our way to the location that was about 30 minutes away, we passed right by an IKEA. And I was like, okay, I need to stop there on the way home because I've got to buy some towels and some bath mats and some trash cans. I mean, you can't function. A 3-story house, the trash cans on the first floor. Can you imagine what Bert Kreischer's room would look like 3 months later? You'd be like ankle deep in garbage.
You need a hazmat team to clean
You
that
would.
house.
I mean, luckily they have 2 women who come and clean once a week, thank God. But so yeah, I went to IKEA.
No, that's the best.
It was the best.
And it's same price, right? It's
Same
cheap.
price. However, I was told that only rich people shop at IKEA. No one can
Yeah. Oh,
afford it.
really?
Yeah.
So IKEA is expensive for that.
Very expensive.
Interesting.
Yes, my driver. So they picked me up and I said, Alex, I need a towel. So I need to stop at IKEA. I don't have a towel, so I can't shower. And he goes, I'll get you a towel. You stay here. We were still at base camp. So he goes into the makeup trailer and he's talking to them and he comes back out and he goes, first thing tomorrow, we're going to have you a towel. And I went, no. I need a towel tonight. And he goes, you don't want to buy a towel. And I went, yeah, I'm totally fine to buy a towel, Alex.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it's a lot of money to buy a towel. I was like,
What were they going to do? Steal it for you?
it's actually not a lot of money to buy a towel. But then to me, that was like, oh, this guy thinks just buying a towel is a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're very interesting culturally because I know I was told day 2, if you want something done, you can't ask for it. You have to tell them. And I was like, what do you mean? And then I figured it out on my own because when I checked out of the hotel, they had my bags in the van. And I was worried that this van, because it wasn't Bert's driver, was going to end up somewhere else and I wouldn't have my luggage.
So you don't say, can you take my luggage out?
I did. I said, can you put my luggage in Bert's trailer? And he said, no. And I went, but I would like it in my trailer. So would you mind? And he went, no. And I went,
and they want you to take that the fucking
yes,
shit
yes,
to the trailer.
yes. What you have to do is say, put that in Bert's trailer. And then he would do it. But that's just not how I
ask. Yeah.
Would you mind? I'm considerate.
Oh,
And-
shit.
And
you know what's going to happen when Bert comes home?
I know. Oh, like that didn't happen before I left?
yeah.
Right?
Now, Leanne, can you bring that? No. Leanne!
Leanne, put it in there now.
No.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, that's uncomfortable. But I guess that's what you have to do is just kind of be forceful. And then I wish I could remember these makeup ladies were teaching me all these curse words. So I guess fuck is the beginning of everything.
Fuck?
When not the word fuck, but the word fuck in Serbian
Serbia. Oh, okay.
is like everything is like fuck your mother, fuck your ass, fuck your purse, fuck your mouth, fuck everything is that. Like that's how they curse. But then one thing she said, my favorite curse with is fuck you, go back to your mother's pussy.
Oh my God.
She taught me how to say that and I can't remember. I was like, that's kind of the most
Fuck you. Go back to your mother's pussy.
I loved it too. I was like, that kind
Now
of
go fuck yourself. But go
Right.
Fuck you. And fuck
you and go back to your mother's pussy.
Oh my God. So
Yeah, stuck with me a little bit. That one stuck with me. I didn't shake that one for a long time. It was like, that's a brilliant curse.
that is. And no, but you don't remember what fuck is?
I can't even remember what fuck is. I'm so bad with language. I'm great with direction. Like if you sit me in a city and I see a map and I go, oh, the fortress is that way, I can walk there without looking at the map again. I cannot learn a language. I tried really hard to learn just like thank you and just simple. I could not do it. I just don't have that ear, which is probably why I still have a Southern accent, because I can't adjust that to just be non-Southern accent. So anyway,
Wow.
it was a cool trip.
That would have been a good one to know.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Fuck you. Go back to your
Go back
mother's
to your
pussy. Bert probably remembers it. He's great with language.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not. But anyway, it was a really good trip. I had a good time. I learned, I felt like I learned a lot in Serbia. I felt like I learned kind of also my value in a different way with Bert. Like I was going, but I don't think I realized how important it was that I went when I went. Like I was there for first day of principal photography. And I think that was really important. I think he needed his partner to say, you're doing good, So I think it was a really big deal that I went when I did.
I thought they started filming before.
They just started, they filmed him with one. He did just one
I
shot.
see. Okay.
But that it wasn't the official start of the film.
But he's having fun and you had fun.
Yes.
You party
We partied a lot. Yes.
like every night. Like when you say party, like dancing or just drinking.
Okay. So the first night we wrapped was at the end of the first week was actually Sunday. So Sunday night we went to this local restaurant and drank a ton of rakia and a lot of wine and ate a lot of Serbian food. They also do a lot of like cheese and meat plates, like prosciutto.
Oh, like a charcuterie.
Yeah, a lot of charcuterie type stuff. And then we went back to Bert's house with probably 6 or 8 people, and they stayed till 3. And we drank and danced. We had a dance party until 3.
Nice.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Bert went to bed at 2. He was like, tap out.
Wow.
He was really
Bert,
tired.
yes.
As he'd had his first week of shooting, and it was really, he didn't know it's his first film. He wasn't sure what to do, and he was a little stressed. But I stayed up till 3, and then we got up. The next day was our day off, and that night we went to the ambassador's house, and then we went from there to this outdoor bar with a huge group of people, and then all of them came back to Bert's house and stayed until 3, and dance partied and drank.
So is everything open in Serbia now?
Yes,
Because the pandemic is actually, they have it under control.
They do. They have done a really good job with vaccination. Everyone wore a mask on set. Everyone was tested every 2 days. I got tested repeatedly, and they didn't get the memo that you don't have to touch brain matter to actually just get a sample in your nose.
Oh.
And they still do the throat swab.
Oh,
And I had this woman one day who was like, ready? I said, yes. And she grabbed the back of my head
Oh my
and shoved it. I was like, ah! I started gagging. It was terrible. So she did that to everybody.
Oh,
And so she was asked not to return. The next day,
she got the meat finger.
she did, right? The meat finger up the nose, right? She can actually go back to her mother's pussy because it sucked.
Oh my gosh.
maybe she was trying to get back there.
Something, man. She didn't come back.
Yeah.
So they were super safe. I mean, they were COVID people on the set, making sure everyone wore their mask at all times if you were not acting. If you had your makeup done, they made you wear a shield.
But the restaurants, everything is open there?
Yep, everything was open. Yeah, nothing was really closed. No, it didn't seem to be restricted for capacity. No.
Is it like the people, like, do you see a lot of young people or more older? What's the population like?
In old Belgrade, I think it was a lot of older. A lot of this is something else that I took away from this trip is everyone was so nicely dressed. Everyone was very put together. There were no schlubby people anywhere.
So that's why no tracksuit.
maybe. But I guess a tracksuit like that is like only rich people wear that.
Oh, I see.
In Serbia, really wealthy people wear the Adidas because over there that tracksuit is like $250, whereas here it's like $80. But yeah, I was just walking around the city going, everyone looks so classically put together, and it made me feel kind of like I miss that. We spend so much time, just kind of in a t-shirt, or I spend so much time in a t-shirt and jeans that I thought, I think I'm going to make a little more of an effort.
They have jackets.
Yes.
And they're very tailored,
Yes.
right? It's very tailored.
Yes. Very put together. Very, tailored, very put together. Everybody. I mean, people who were like clearly a parent taking their kid to the park was still very put together. So I thought that was really interesting. And I thought it was kind of inspiring because I don't feel put together most of the time. Hair done, makeup, a little makeup on, natural makeup. Even the young ladies on the crew. Oh my God, funny story. So Bert, I'm sure you'll find this shocking, but if he went in the makeup trailer and I was with him, I have to go with him everywhere he went. So I was like his little puppy dog. He wanted me right with him all the time. So got to know all the hair and makeup people because that's the fun trailer, right? So they apparently were trying to figure out who I was, and they figured out I was Bert's wife. And one of the young ladies Googled me and found my podcast. So she listened to an episode, and she just happened to listen to this episode. Oh my God, this might be a little embarrassing, where I talk about one of Bert's body parts. I call it a little guy, right? So she comes running out of the trailer and she goes, I listened to your wife of the party. I said, you did. She said, it's so good. It's so good. And I listened to the one about the little guy. And I went,
Oh shit!
the little guy? What little guy?
Who are you talking
She
to?
goes,
Do you know who
I don't
you guessed
remember. It had to be old. And she was like, yes, your little guy. And I
little
go,
guy.
did I have like a small person on? What am I don't know which one you're talking about. She said, I have a little guy with my boyfriend and I
shit.
call it little guy too. So I was listening to your podcast going, she says little guy and that's my little guy. And I was like, oh my God, Bert is going to be so embarrassed. Because that's a little joke he and I have. I actually think it might have been on a Two Bears, One Cave when he and I were talking to each other about something and we were like pet names and he brought it up.
Oh,
So I think now that I'm talking about it, that had to be where it was from because I would never have done that without Bert, ever. So that must have been, she was confused about which podcast, but I was so embarrassed and I went and told Bert and he was like, great.
great. Now, yeah.
Every time I go in the makeup trailer,
Makeup, little guy.
let's do the little guy's makeup.
love it.
No, not the little guy, but this guy.
Not this machine. This machine.
Oh, wrong machine. But anyway, that was pretty funny. Anyway, you want to say some of the stuff I got?
Yes.
Okay. None of this. I brought you gifts, but it's not any of this stuff because I didn't know if you guys.
How are
would
we doing
want
with time?
It is 2:15. All right, so they do a lot of felt work.
Beautiful.
This is something that they would put on a chair as a pad.
Oh,
I
wait.
think-
Is that scratchy, though? Is this a scratchy ass?
Oh, it's not that scratchy. You want to feel it? But I thought I would hang it on the wall as art.
Yeah.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
Handicraft. Yeah, you can. It's meant for like a hard chair.
Yeah.
like a hard
Oh,
chair.
Like a dining room
But
chair.
you're going to have a sweaty ass with this.
I know, right? And you can roll it
And it's really big.
and
for
put
a
it under your
chair.
arm.
Oh.
That's what she said. And take it to a sporting event. And then you put it on the bleachers.
Got it. Okay. That makes a little
softball
more
game.
sense.
I could bring
Exactly.
this. Like, oh,
But it's
let me
not
see
very
that.
cushy.
For the
Yeah.
It's not very cushy. So I got
this is-
some of those. And then
I see.
this I thought was really cool. These are some weavings.
Oh, that's
right?
pretty.
So this is like almost the size of a placemat. And it has
Just a different shape.
yeah,
little
just
more
a
square.
different shape. It's
Yeah.
more square. And she said they use this for all kinds of things, like to put on a table or to use as a placemat. But each symbol is something from, it has a meaning. So this is a suitcase. Even though it doesn't look like a suitcase, she said this is a suitcase symbol.
Oh.
And then they also make rugs that are just
Oh,
like
that's
this.
pretty.
And that's a goat.
That's fun.
Isn't that cool?
It's
Yeah.
like very Christmassy. It's like a reindeer.
It's
It
a
almost, yeah.
goat. And then this one is a turtle.
Oh, this is.
How's that a turtle?
I don't know, but she said it was a turtle. So I take her word for it.
Okay.
Oh, I see it. I see it like
It's a turtle.
little bit. Yeah.
Really?
So there's a head, maybe,
The
and a
top of
tail,
the
maybe.
turtle. The top.
And the feet.
The
Tail
top
is throwing me off.
Yeah, the top.
It's too balanced.
That's a little too bad.
The tail
It's
is
too
the
balanced.
same size.
Bad.
Got a big
little.
wide tail.
So it's cool. It's pretty, right?
Look at that.
Yeah.
And then I bought these. These are felt balls, and they have
Oh, those are
rattles on the inside. They're really just decorative.
Decorative.
meant
Yeah.
to
You can put it in the
like
basket.
in a
exactly
vase, yeah.
on a basket. And I bought some for Lola for a rattle
Yeah,
Oh.
that's great.
for my niece.
Oh,
but-
this is pretty.
Doesn't look like a lot, but
Now, is it expensive for like?
no, it wasn't. I actually bought.
So wait, did you get this from that lady?
I did.
Yeah.
I got everything
So
from
she
that
just
one
has
lady.
this from artisans, and she just has it in her house, so people randomly show up. How does this work?
It's in like an office building. It's
So she sells.
She sells-
it to a retail.
She is
no.
trying to. She is trying to figure. I think they do some sales to retail, but she's really trying to figure out how to get this out in a more mass way. So I guess there are different regions of Serbia outside of Belgrade have different weaving styles, and you. There's no central place to just look and buy all of them. If you
Right.
want, I think it's called a Pirot weaving, which is this style here. You have to go to Pirot, to the city of Pirot. So they had some rugs. I bought actually a couple of rugs, but they're only runners. They don't have like a big rectangular rug like you would sit in your dining room. They just don't keep that in the showroom. And I was like, that's a shame because I actually came for that kind of rug.
Right.
And the only way I can get that kind of rug is to drive to that village and buy it there. And then if you do that, you have to make an appointment and you have to speak the language. So it requires me getting someone else to go with me and to schedule an appointment. And they're usually several hours outside of the city. So I was super bummed about that. I was like, there's got to be a way. And it's because they don't have a showroom or they don't have a storefront. They don't have any way to really.
How do they make money? How do they survive by selling this stuff?
I don't know. I bought this runner that's really, really long. It's about probably 2.5 feet wide and probably 9 feet long. It was $200.
That's great.
And it's all this wool and they weave the thread from their own sheep. And I was like, I mean, they had one rug that I actually didn't like. It had roses woven all over it. So it's not something that I would have liked, but it was like a 9x12 rug, all hand woven with all this handmade, was $1,000. And I thought that's still a really good price for that size rug and the quality of weaving. It just was covered with roses. And I was like, I don't really want a rug covered with roses, but if I'd had a rug like that with the suitcases on it, I would have totally or a turtle, anything. Well, even one of the rugs I bought that I brought home, I didn't bring it today because it's so big, is just beautiful.
Oh, you did buy some
I bought 2 rugs that are runners.
Okay. Oh, runners.
Because that's all they had was runners. But it was like a red and black and green, beautiful rug. And I was like, if you had this on a full size, I would have totally bought it.
In Turkey, they have in Istanbul.
I don't have a shipping container in Turkey, but I do have one in Serbia.
This is really well woven. It's pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty. It's all hand done, and it's done on the looms that stand upright. Because some of them lay flat. These are done on the upright loom, which I guess is a very specific talent. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Are these all from the same person?
They are, because I only found it at this one person. Yeah, and the ambassador's wife took me, and Godfrey took me to this one person. And so she only had felt and woven. That's all she had. But she had beautiful felt slippers, like house shoes. They were gorgeous. And I was like, I have my own line of house shoes. I don't need another pair of house shoes. And I don't want to, everybody I know has my house shoes. So I don't want to give them house shoes. But they had that. They made those little felt balls smaller into keychains. So that's what I bought all the camper kids with little keychains with the felt balls in them. They made those felt balls really big so you could hang them. And they were beautiful. But yeah, I was looking for blankets. She didn't have anything like that. I did buy some scarves and sweaters from her neighbor.
It gets cold there, right?
Does, yeah. It's like Seattle. Yeah, it gets cold there.
But is it as rainy as Seattle?
No, it is not. Must be the topography. Or, I mean, Seattle is kind of coastal.
Yeah.
It's not coastal. So anyway, that's my trip to Serbia.
That's cool. I'm glad you got to go.
It was fun. I'm glad I got to go too. Thank you for checking on my kids the whole time I was gone. I appreciate that. Thank you.
They did well.
They did,
yeah, they didn't.
They did fine.
You know,
I think they did okay.
Yeah.
Seems like it. I mean, Georgia is 16. We have to almost 17.
There are no bags of rice being taken to school.
All right.
Good,
Thank God. I know. Isla had a hard time at one point. I called and said, I'm thinking about staying a little longer. And she just shook her head no.
Oh.
And I said, why? Do you miss me? And she just shook her head yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this the longest you've been away?
12 days, yeah. Because we only went for 10 to Vietnam. Yeah, 12. I really probably could have stayed through the weekend. I think Bert would have liked.
I thought you went for 10 days. This was 12?
It was 12.
This trip?
I left the first
you had
and
the
came back to
quarantine.
12. Yeah.
Okay.
I was only with
Well,
Bert.
it started out shorter and then it
started out
became
much
longer.
And I am very glad that I made it much longer.
Yeah.
7 days would not have been enough.
Oh, because half of it is
It's quarantined.
Quarantine.
Right.
Yep. Well, I just didn't think, originally I felt like I wasn't sure what my purpose was there. Like Bert was like, well, you're a producer. You have to show up. Well, okay, if I'm just going to show up, I'm just going to be in the way. I don't want to be that person that's just stuck in the corner in the way. I wasn't sure what the atmosphere was going to be on the set. I'd met the director, but I didn't know if he was really going to be cool. I thought he would, but, I don't want to be in the way. That's the way I was feeling. I'm only going to go if I can be helpful. And I didn't think I was going to be very helpful. And I think I found out I was very, very helpful. I think what happened was because I spent my whole day in the producer's tent that I got to be really close to a lot of the key people. And it kind of made the environment become a family somehow.
Well, you are like that though.
Yeah.
For Bert.
For Bert, yeah.
Yeah, because, everyone needs someone to kind of
Bring it
bring
all together.
bring it all, kind of glue it all together.
Yeah. I think I did that a little bit. I think I was the person that kind of made this a different feeling. Sort of. And it was really nice to meet the woman who's playing me. She's awesome. And to meet the other, it was good to meet everybody that he's going to talk about for the next 3 months. So I have a point of reference.
Right. Yeah.
Who they are.
And not come from at the end of the trip.
Right.
Like,
right.
in the beginning, and then they can say, oh, how's Leanne,
Yeah, that's true. Also on his end, because now they all know me.
Right.
And they all said they like me better than Bert. I'm just saying. And that I'm quite funny. Just saying.
I mean, because he's a little guy.
He's a little guy. That little guy. I love that little guy. The little guy on the inside. Not the small machine.
We know.
Well, I like that too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we haven't been together this long.
We just didn't know the little guy. We know the big guy.
Guys, that's all you need to know. But the little guy on the inside, I think, was feeling very unsure. Not insecure, just like unsure, because he'd never done this before. And I don't blame him. This is kind of a big responsibility. So I think to have me there to go, no, you're, to be honest, not to be like spoiler, he was fantastic. Like I thought he would do fine. I wasn't worried about his acting. No. He was actually fantastic. He had a scene, one scene where he was supposed to get emotional, and he did. And he killed it. Like the crew was crying. It was crazy. I didn't know he was that good. I didn't know he knew how to do any of that. It would have worked fine if he didn't get that emotional. But that he did was just kind of, I just couldn't believe it. He did such a great job. And sometimes when you have a really stressful new situation, it's hard to manage everything that's going on at once. Learn this learning curve of, there's this one scene where he's got to be really angry, and he's got to carry a tray and sit it down on a mark and turn around and hit another mark and talk to one person while he's talking about another person in another room, and then hit another mark and continue to talk to that other person and come back to the original mark. And the marks are there so they can pull focus. It's very important that you hit the mark. And I thought, this is where he's going to have problems, because he doesn't like that being controlled and feeling like he can't be free to do whatever. And I thought hitting the mark is where he's going to get tripped up. Totally didn't. He didn't do it one time. He missed his mark, and Peter explained to him why he needed to hit it, why it was important, and he never missed it again. And I was like, I am pretty freaking impressed.
Wow.
Impressed. And the director and the producers are such collaborative, completely ego-free people. And Bert brings no ego to his creativity.
Oh, yeah, he never does.
Not in his creativity. Outside creativity is a different deal. But when he's in that creative space, like when we work on an hour special together, there's no ego. And I can say to him, this isn't working. And he never takes it personally. He always goes, well, then how do we fix it? And the director and the producer are of the same mind. They're exactly the same. So if Bert's like, I would never say this line, then the director will be like, well, then what would you say? And let's figure it out. And then let's shoot it. And I think that's made Bert really comfortable. So he's not feeling like he's, being something that he's not. It's really cool. And it was good. I think for me to say, hey, this is what I see is happening was really important. So he could go, okay, I'm on the right track. Now I can just run with it.
So he's having fun, and he's
Having
doing great.
a blast. Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, tell him we miss him.
I will. He misses you guys a lot. He misses the campers a lot. There were several times where he was like, wouldn't it be fun if the campers were here? And I go, yeah, it would.
So when he comes back, you have to have these markers for him. Take up the fucking laundry, put it here, bring it back. What do you
Floss
think?
picks go
Mark
in the
it, mark
garbage.
it. Here's your marker.
Yeah, and I won't ask him. I'll say, go do it.
Yeah,
Move that from here to there.
there now.
Now. Or you can go back to your mother's pussy.
Well, welcome back.
Well,
We miss
thank you. I missed you too. We'll have to go have drinks so I can give you your gift.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.